So what do you think of like the Kony campaign recently? You know, the internet about Kony and
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
what was your take on
well,
that?
I was amazed. One of my girls came home from school and said, "Dad, you know this Joseph Kony?" I said, "Yes, I do." Like, actually, and I said, "Why?" And she said, "Oh, like it's like they were." She was outraged and wanted to get involved. And I said, "Well, how did you know about it?" She said, "Oh, it's on the internet." So she showed it to me, and being dad, sometimes, like you're smart or something. I said, well, I actually made a film about him in 2004, which obviously didn't go viral because viral wasn't invented, I think. But, it's, again, like your point about the three Ps. What's interesting is that it'll create a great stir, probably great pressure for some international agency to do something about this, because it's eminently doable to get this guy. But the politics of the thing are quite complex, and to understand Kony, you have to understand the politics and the economics, which are quite boring. And you have to understand Uganda and Icholi province, where he comes from, and how they feel disenfranchised from the capital, and how where Kony, for some of them, gives them some leverage. And so there's lots of stuff going on. There's no question that this man is a paradigm of evil. I mean, he is beyond mad. Those of you who remember Apocalypse Now or earlier Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness and Kurtz at the Bend of the River, this is Kurtz plus, because you could argue that Kurtz actually went mad. But in Kony's case, he's seriously Looney Tunes and probably doesn't understand how awfully evil he is. He actually does believe he shape changes and can see, can fly at night and see what's going on and
My
then
God.
tell his followers what to do. Yeah, yeah. No. I mean, I know that part of the world very well, and I know the situation. I've met many of his the bushwives, these young girls who are sort of married to his commanders. So his commanders are 15, and they're the word we use the word traumatized too often.
And they
But
talk about freeing the children that are his soldiers, don't they?
well, never mind freeing the children. I mean, the point is that you're not going to free them. I mean, some of them escape, but a lot of them love doing it, and they don't think they can go back. But they've developed this phenomenally sophisticated way of forgiveness up there. When they do come out of the bush or they're captured by the Ugandan army, they're put into kind of retraining camps, if you like, which have been set up by the local women. And they try and decompress these people down from the horrors that they've personally committed or seen. And even there, that's complex, because often these kidnapped children fall in love with each other. The commander picks the bush
Wow.
wife who's like 11 or 12 or 13. Up to that point, they have to do the washing and cooking and carrying. The young boys do the carrying of the guns and, all that stuff. And then they eventually train them up into being killers. But if they escape, and a lot of them do and want to, they get into these camps or they're captured. And for the ones captured, I mean, often they try and get back, because they're afraid Kony's going to fly in at night and see them and get them.
Wow.
But they also are afraid that going back to the village, what they've done to the village and nearby, they're going to be killed, or certainly their parents will never forgive them. So what they do when he goes back to the village is they pass under this white piece of cloth, and the parents are waiting at the other side, and they hug them to embrace them, because passing under the white cloth signifies a cleansing of the sin, almost, rather like Catholics going to confession and being blessed. You've done it, it's over. We know what happened. That's it. And it takes about 2 weeks, and then the uncles and aunts come and visit and embrace them, and then the society takes them back. And they break down, weeping like as you would. But they'll rarely talk about it, because they're catatonic almost, what they realise as it comes back to them what they've done. But around them are often their children, these bush children, these Kony children. And there was one particular brute, 18-year-old, who lost a leg. So he was captured, and the others in the room, in the hospital thing, all stayed on the far side of the room and wouldn't talk to him at all. But around him were these four playful little boys and girls. This was their dad, and he was looking for his wife. He was in love with her. And I met another girl, Agnes, I remember her well, and she she loved him, and she was completely caught between escaping and wanting to go home and going back and finding to her husband. And so in all this mess is this deep, understandable humanity and this absolute madness, you know.
So were you able to give your daughter this deeper understanding of the whole situation? Did you not?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I didn't bore her, but I tried to explain that, you know, going back to your point, sorry for going on, but with the viral thing, is that effective in effect? And it's effective in making kids aware of different realities and different worlds and make them go, why doesn't someone stop it? It's mad. It's mad, but it's comprehensible. Where the madness is why haven't they caught this guy? Journalists get to him and interview him. So why can't these hotshot outfits get there, or the Ugandan army, or the Sudanese throw them out? You know, I mean...
or squads from some Western
just
country.
go in and, you know, I mean, I shouldn't say this because I get into trouble, but just go in and take them out.
Yeah.
You know, I would.
Yeah.
You know, I said in my film, you know, I stood amongst these kids, said, give me the gun. No problem. No problem to me. I'm deeply serious. This guy is...
Yeah, well, you'd be doing the world a favour.
You would. But the international agencies can't do that. They must get him and bring him to court, and that's correct.